What's going on, everyone? So the San Antonio Spurs are, in my opinion, doing like everything right this offseason. First off, they draft Stephon Castle in the first round with the 4th pick. He's their, more likely than not, future starting point guard. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he becomes the best player in this draft. Right, this draft is kind of a weaker draft. There's a couple guys that I think have real potential, but Stephon Castle is in that kind of core group of guys. I wouldn't be shocked if, 3, 4, 5 years from now we look back and we go, man, Stephon Castle was the best player in that draft. On top of that, they got some future picks by trading the 8th pick, and they went and did, in my opinion, the best move that they possibly could have done in bringing in Chris Paul. Talked heavily about the acquisition of Chris Paul because I am just so high on it. Obviously, Spurs, more likely than not, unless some crazy stuff happens, aren't winning an NBA championship this year. But what Chris Paul does is it helps, one, it'll raise the ceiling and give them more wins, show them kind of that competitive nature, what winning is about, gives them a guy that can be a real mentor, gives them that adult in the room, gives them a guy that has a history of really elevating the players around him and properly developing guys. I mean, SGA to this day speaks so highly of what Chris Paul did for his game. And, SGA is arguably a top 5 guy at this point, right? And so what Chris Paul could do for Stephon Castle, who is supposed to be the foundation piece and the point guard of the future, right? What he can do for Vassell, right? And just kind of mentor him and help him see things. It's more about just the vision and IQ that Chris Paul brings to the floor, right? The things that he sees, the way that his mind operates for the game of basketball, being an extension to Greg Popovich, I just think will go such a long way. And he can kind of help and point out and help these young up-and-coming guards really learn and see and understand. I mean, even Jones, I think, will get a real value out of Chris Paul, and I'm excited for that. But also just to, again, give that adult in the room. You need that. You got a young, extremely young core, extremely young roster. You need those guys that can come in and kind of, not afraid to knock some heads, is well-respected, kind of call people out, and be, again, the adult in the room. But another big thing that the Spurs did was they picked up Harrison Barnes. And they got Harrison Barnes for free. And the beauty of Harrison Barnes is, again, gives them another adult in the room, 32 years old, a guy that has won an NBA championship with the Golden State Warriors, so understands what goes into that. He's a guy that right now they have for 2 years. He's making $19.8 million, and then next year will be $20.8 million, and then he's a unrestricted free agent. So you got him around for 2 years. Chris Paul, you got him currently for 1, but I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of re-up on the Chris Paul treatment. But with Harrison Barnes, again, gives you another adult, but gives you that 6'8", versatile 3-and-D wing that can defend out on the perimeter, that can knock down the 3 ball. Right? He's a guy that's not going to take away from Victor. He's not going to take away from Vassell. He's not going to take away from Castle, right? He's a guy that can just slot in beautifully. And now you could go like Chris Paul, Vassell, Castle, Harrison Barnes, and Victor Wembanyama, right? Like that could literally be your starting 5. And you got some nice versatility there. Little undersized, but again, you're a team that is just trying to shape and mold and build the identity, right? You're not a team that's necessarily trying to win a championship this year. Now, if they go and they trade for a Lauri Markkanen and maybe they make a couple moves and push their chips in a little bit more, then maybe that'll be the type of conversation that they have. I think a lot of it will also come down to Victor and how great is he this year. He was already arguably a top 15 player last year. In my opinion, he was the best defense player in the league last year. And I wouldn't be shocked if, he's even better this year, right? Because he's just naturally through progression. Plus, I also think Chris Paul and the impact that he's going to have on Victor, I think is just going to go an incredibly long way. But unless Victor is, clearly far and away a top 5 player, then I don't think they realistically have a chance to win a championship. And that's fine. You don't have to. It's year 2 for Victor. You're trying to build the identity here. But what I like about Harrison Barnes, one, he plays 82 games last 2 years, 77 games the previous year of those two. This is a guy that has been a model of health his entire career. This is a guy that can, again, be a legit 3-and-D guy, can make some plays, can rebound a little bit. Right? You can slot him at the 3, you can slot him at the 4. He's got good versatility in that regard. Last year, for example, he shot 38.7% from three-point range on 4.7 attempts. He's a career 38% three-point shooter. Last year, he shot 57.1% on 2-point attempts. This is a guy that can put the ball on the deck, get to the basket. Now, he's not a star or a superstar or anything like that, but he is a solid role player that can really help shape and mold the wings and small forwards and forwards on this roster. He's a guy that has been there, done that, hit big shots, been to the finals, hit big shots in the finals. His versatility, right? Not everybody has to be a superstar. You need the role guys, especially alongside Victor Wembanyama. And I think he would go a long way for guys like even Devin Vassell, right? I think Harrison Barnes can kind of work with him and help him. Jeremy Zohan, right? I think even Keldon Johnson, why he's on the team. I think sooner or later Keldon Johnson is going to get traded, but momentarily I think that you have him that you can help kind of shape and mold to make him the best player possible. One, for potential trades, and two, while he's on the roster, the better he is, the better position you're in. I also think Harrison Barnes will be great for Harrison Ingram, which is the second-round pick that they got this year, who I'm really high on for them. I think Harrison Ingram could end up being one of those kind of diamond-in-the-rough type players. I think he's a real Spurs guy. I think Harrison Barnes is also very familiar with the type of offense and system that the Spurs want to run, playing with the Golden State Warriors, playing with the Sacramento Kings. It's all kind of stems from the Pop tree. So I think Harrison Barnes, again, is that Greg Popovich, San Antonio type player that can really mold. So now you have the Harrison Barnes for your wing depth, right? And then you have your Chris Paul for your guard depth, right? Your Trey Jones, your Devin Vassell, your Stephon Castle, right? All these guys I think will be elevated mightily by just having these guys around. And then I also think that Harrison Barnes is a guy that can make a real impact on this roster. Gives you a legit veteran 3-and-D style player that can defend essentially 1 through 4 on some occasions, depending on who you play. Then the matchup could even slot over and hold his own against the 5. He's not this like super elite guy, but I think he is perfect for what they want, and they got him for nothing. Right? They got him for basically just taking on his salary and absorbing his salary, and it kind of puts them in a position to where, okay, like you're in good shape. Right, you're in a position to where it's like you got the right vets around your youth. Harrison Barnes isn't going to take away from Victor. He's not going to take away from Vassell. He's not going to be demanding of the basketball. He's going to understand and play his role because he's done that at every position he's been. Right, you don't want to get the wrong guy. He comes in and now it just throws everything in a loop. Now you got a guy that he wants his 15 shots or he wants this, that. Like, you want guys. That's why I like the idea of like a Lauri Markkanen, because again, talked heavily about Lauri Markkanen. He's a guy that doesn't need the basketball. He's a guy that's not going to take away from Victor and Vassell and these young guys, Castle. He's going to allow them to be able to do their thing because he's so good off ball. Harrison Barnes doesn't need the ball. Right? He's going to do the dirty work. He's going to hustle. He's going to grind. He's going to hit shots, hit the mid-range, get to the basket. He can hit the three-point shot. I think the Spurs they're doing everything right this offseason. Personally, I think they've done an excellent job. But as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like what you're seeing from Chris Paul? Do you like what you're seeing from this team? And the kind of moves that they're making this offseason? Do you like the Harrison Barnes acquisition? Do you like the drafting of Stephon Castle? Do you want to see them still make other moves? Do you want to see them go get a Lauri Markkanen still? Or do you think, nah, just leave it alone, stand pat, run it the way it is, and let's go? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.